Hello, Pokemon trainers! Welcome back to another Pokemon Sword and Shield video on iStarly TV. So you'll notice that some of the previous Sword and Shield videos that we've covered have been talking about some leaks from the game. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about certain things, but in particular, this is the apparently leaked complete roster of Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So this includes all of the returning Pokemon in Sword and Shield, and by extension, this shows the Pokemon that are actually not returning in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So before we delve into it, because there's a lot to talk about here, I will say that, of course, as I said, this video contains spoilers. So if you do not want to know this information, then, definitely don't watch the video. This is also not 100% confirmed, although I've been following a lot of reputable sources online, and I have seen images of this being the case, like from the actual games. I do believe that this information is correct. However, there's still some chance that this is not 100% correct, but, I still think it's worth talking about because it's kind of interesting. It's kind of important, I think, if you're a Pokemon fan and if you're planning on getting Pokemon Sword and Shield in general, which of course I am, and I'm very excited. Now, that's my final spoiler warning. So if you don't want to know all this information, if you don't want to know all of the Pokemon that are coming back in Pokemon Sword and Shield, definitely stop the video now and come back at a later date when you do know this information. So here's an image of the full kind of Pokedex for Sword and Shield. I'll kind of make this scroll up and down as I'm talking about it so you can kind of get the full picture without it being like, too small, I guess. I mean, this was the easiest way to depict all of this information at once. I will say, first of all, that I did not make this image. I did not spend time making this image. That credit goes to someone else. This image was presented, I believe, on Reddit, and it was found from, I believe, another online forum where some anonymous user actually made this. So I will say I am not taking credit for making this image, but I do think it's important to talk about. So first of all, the facts of this are that there are about 400 Pokemon in the Galar Pokedex, and I believe about 80 something of those, I think around 81 of those are brand new species that have not existed in games before. So 81 brand new Pokemon, and I believe also 13 Galar forms, which totals to, technically you could say, 94 new Pokemon, because Galar forms, for example, Galarian Zigzagoon, is kind of like a new Pokemon in and of itself. Obviously it's a Zigzagoon, but it's a different typing, and often they have different stats, so it's kind of like a new Pokemon, but not technically. So that's a decent number. That's not a lot, but also it's more than previous generations have had as far as brand new species are concerned. Now, the hard truth, I think, the facts that a lot of people are really upset about, and rightfully so, I would say, of all the returning Pokemon total, there are less than 50% of Pokemon in this game. So less than 50%, and in fact, a lot less than 50%. I've seen different numbers. I've seen around the low 40%. I've seen about 44%. I can go ahead and count and provide, maybe I'll count and provide like an exact number, but basically there are about 40 something percent of Pokemon that are available in this game. Out of all the Pokemon that exist, you can only obtain about 40% of them in this game. And that's a huge difference. Obviously, in Sun and Moon, you could obtain 100% of the existing Pokemon in those games. And sure, some of them were not obtainable in the game itself, but you could, if you obtain those Pokemon in other games, you could bring them to Sun and Moon. So it was possible in Sun and Moon for you to own every single existing Pokemon. You could own 100% of the existing Pokemon in your game, and you could play with them. It looks like in Sword and Shield that is far from the case, and you can only own and play with up to 40% of the existing Pokemon. So, I mean, it's up to you to decide what you think. Like, I am interested in knowing. I think everyone's entitled to their own opinion, so if someone says this is fine, I don't care, like I just want to play these games, I don't need every single Pokemon in these games, and I'm still going to buy them and enjoy them, then that's perfectly fine. If you feel that way, that's great. And that's great. I think you can enjoy these games and for what they are, and that's great. But people are also entitled to say, like, I'm not going to buy these games because I cannot play with every single Pokemon. Especially if you look in this list and if your favorite Pokemon is not on this list, or in particular, the green Pokemon are Pokemon that are returning in the game, Pokemon that are available in the game, and the white Pokemon are the ones that are not available in the game. So this is a tough list. Let's also talk about the fact that none of the previous starters except for the Charmander line are in these games, apparently, and so that means that, and this is not surprising. I mean, usually when we have a new generation of Pokemon, you cannot catch the previous starters in the game, although, of course, in the past, we had it where you could transfer them, so that was very different. Of course, people are really mad because people feel like the Charizard line is getting special treatment. Charizard's probably one of the most popular Pokemon in general, so, it kind of makes some sense why they brought it back, but it does feel a little wrong to see that none of the other starters are available in this game except for the Charmander line. So you cannot get Bulbasaur, you cannot get Squirtle, you cannot get Chikorita, you cannot get Torchic, you cannot get Turtwig, only Charmander. So that's a little rough, like I said. Also, as you would probably also expect, none of the previous legendaries appear to be in these games either. And I think that was one thing that I was very sure would be the case, that you would not be able to obtain most, if not all, of the older legendaries. So no Giratina, no Moltres, no Ho-Oh in these games. That also is rough, but I mean, personally, I don't really use those in the games anyway. I don't really play Ubers. But again, I mean, I shouldn't dismiss other people who might be upset that you can't use Ho-Oh. Maybe someone's favorite Pokemon is Ho-Oh. I don't know. I just want to hear your thoughts. I'm really interested in hearing what you think. Has this changed your mind? Currently, there are no plans to allow us to transfer Pokemon. So if my favorite Pokemon is Starly, and here's the actual horrible thing, the horrible realization, we are Ice Starly TV, and you cannot catch or obtain Starly in these games at all. You cannot transfer Starly to Pokemon Sword and Shield as of right now, so that's a little awkward. That's a little painful for us. On the other hand, or not on the other hand, but similarly, my favorite Pokemon, or one of my favorite Pokemon that I often talk about, is my favorite Smeargle, and it does not look like Smeargle is obtainable in these games as well. So that's my bottom line. I'm still going to buy these games. I'm still excited. It looks like there's a lot of great new features. We've seen all of the brand new Pokemon now, those have been leaked. We'll talk about some of the other ones if we get the chance, but I like a lot of the new designs as well. But it is very sad to know that I can't play with every single Pokemon in these games. So yeah, let me know in the comments. This feels like another slap in the face, because it's like they announced this. They said, you can't play with all of the Pokemon, and it felt like a slap in the face. And then we said, okay, well, maybe if they allow us to play with a lot of the older Pokemon, and maybe if there are a lot of other great features in the game, that can make up for it. And then seeing this list and seeing that so many of the original Pokemon are being cut, it hurts. It definitely hurts. And I've heard also from the leaks that there are actually not that many things to do once you beat the games, but that's not confirmed, and we'll talk about that when we get there, the post-game and all of that. But anyways, this video is about this Pokédex cut. Let me know in the comments what you think. Please leave a like if this video helped you out, or if you were interested in this content. Also, please subscribe for more Pokemon Sword and Shield content. We are super close to the game's release. Very, very close. I'm going to try to start making some tweaks in the channel. Maybe I'll change our profile picture and our banner to be more updated with Sword and Shield. Although I don't know if I should have Starly. Even though we are Ice Starly, maybe I should have a different logo, because Starly's not in the games. It's a little awkward. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. And please have a great day, and I'll see you soon.